Welcome back to Friday Feeling. We are all about love on Friday. And we have Oprah's love ambassador, Kailen Rosenberg. She's a celebrity love architect. Tell us what that is.
It's a big job. I go into people's or enter people's love lives, usually people that are pretty successful, have everything on the outside in the superficial world. But when it comes to love and pain, they're pretty, they're kind of connected in a space that isn't so wonderful. And so I come in, I get to the true core of their foundation, the reality of the cracks that are there that need to be filled with something healthy and full. And I build a structure for their lives that bring love in a healthy way and just try to bring happiness and joy.
I love that.
So that's what I do.
I love that you mentioned structure, and in 30 days, you've got a plan with your book, The Real Love Right Now, on how to find a soulmate. That's incredible. You've mapped it out for us.
I have tried really hard. Yeah, and you know, one of the things that I've found, I just created a test with Dr. Harville Hendricks, who's honored one of the best in the world. Yeah, he's just a dear friend. And we've kind of figured together that it actually is not the soulmate that we want anymore, even though my book is the soulmate thing. It's the life mate that we are not only aspiring to have, but should have, and should also know how to be for someone.
So what's the
difference? That's what I teach. The soulmate is the one, which is why our soul craves it. It's the teacher. It's that one that just triggers our shit and our good and our love and our and then we're supposed to either really learn and grow from that and become each other's teacher and move on, or move up into a life mate phase where we are a little more centered and grounded and we have that healthy love and relationship and we're having fun dating, truly dating and being with ourselves. We don't need someone else.
So true.
You know? Yeah. So
it's interesting because you know, as a doctor of divinity, I was really interested in, because I was so codependent. And like and you realize you're like, oh, that magnetism, that all that stuff is actually like totally a soul limiting belief of calling in somebody, and just because you've got something to complete. So tell us, I know that that's what you speak about in your The Real Reveal.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, so the soul is, again, it's, I believe we're in the spiritual, we're, you know, in this body, experiencing this world in this life. And the soul is just, it's starving to learn. It's like food. And so when it's starving for more, that's okay. It's not bad. It's just staying stuck in something for too long that's too painful. Little pain grows us, breaks us down so we can heal back up. But when we stop, when we ignore...
When you're broken, it's not so good.
When you just stay broken, when you're not listening to the higher sense and voice that is so lovingly talking to us and trying to guide us constantly, then we're not honoring that soul anymore. We're not honoring the journey, and we're not honoring our soul mate, regardless of who that is. It can be many different types of people.
Right.
Not just romantic.
I just love it. So is that where you would recommend people start, is sort of start where the discomfort is? And go beyond that? Where do people start? So let's say someone says, hey, I want, you know, I feel like there's more for me. I'm in a relationship, maybe I'm stuck. I don't know if I'm kind of growing from this or not, but it's, I don't know where to start. What would you recommend?
I love what you just said, and actually I've never heard it said like that. Yeah, it's not, it doesn't sound fun or comfortable, and it's not kind of supposed to be, again, real change and growth. Start where the discomfort is. Be okay with that. So many of us, we just had the Kate Spade suicide. We just had Anthony today. Are afraid to go where it's uncomfortable and painful, and they carry so much shame with that. And they, not only are we allowing ourselves to be sort of beat up by the world, but then we beat ourselves up at the same time. So if we can go with love and peace and some form of comfort and release shame into that uncomfortable space and just gently look at where does it come from and why. It's not about blame. It's not about judgment. It's just, where does it come from? How can I find peace with it, to understand it, to then do what I need to do to heal and grow beyond it?
So many people are scared of that, though, than to be, because a lot of times that requires you to end the relationship, to be single in doing that. That was the case with me. I mean, maybe that's the reason why some of us are really single, is because we have to do that. But that's the scariest place to be.
It can be.
And the most lonely.
It can be. I mean, well, and because it can trigger abandonment, it can trigger childhood stuff, right? Most of what we carry comes from that childhood space, the things we didn't get from our mother and father, the things that we didn't, you know, that our mother and father didn't receive prior to them finding one another. I mean, it goes on and on and on. At a certain point, the buck has to stop with us. again.
What do you mean we just can't keep swiping and answers? Okay, you talk about the 3 different levels in the reveal: the ego mate, the soul mate, and the life mate. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, that darn ego mate. So thank God it's only about 10% of us. The ego mate is the person. It's the psychopaths, the sociopaths, the clinical narcissists. It's the really heavy-duty, wounded people that are in so much pain they're just deeply stuck. They cause a lot of junk, a lot of pain in this planet on many different levels. But that's a space and a phase you can be in, and you want to stay away from them. In the soulmate phase, it's about 80% of us. It's split into soulmate in transit 1 and in transit 2, depending on your level of growth and awareness and healing. It's, again, where most of us are finding each other, we're duking it out, we're getting passionate, we're having great sex, we're doing all these things, but we're not really, most of us are not evolving to that, again, other 10% of life mate phase, which is, again, that highly evolved spiritual sense of self. I know who I am. I really love who I am. My crap and all. It's all good. I'm still learning. There's no such thing as perfect. Do you know what I'm saying? So, so the dating app that I have, the Large Social Club, I created that because I was sitting as a relationship expert and had been called by one of the biggest in the world to be a face and a brand for it. And I said, unless you're willing to fix and shake up what you have, even though you're taking in billions of dollars, you're also harming hundreds of millions of lives. And I want something better on this planet.
Amen.
So, amen, right?
Love that.
Yeah.
Let's have some rosé to that.
Yeah. So created this app that truly does vet people. It vets based on the tests that Harville and I and also Helen Fisher put together. That is, or I'm not, no, not Fisher, sorry. Helen LaKelly Hunt, his wife, his lovely wife. So that you can onboard into and through this Real Reveal test to find out what kind of mate you are, why you attract what you do, and it's all okay, why you stay in the wrong relationships too long, get to a healthy phase, and then there's an algorithm connected to it that actually matches you behind the scenes, and it criminally vets you, and it vets you identity-wise. So now we have this fully vetted app that's out there, and we're excited.
I have a question about this.
And we're going to energetically heal the world with love. That's my whole plan.
Well, yeah. Sign me up. I accept the challenge, but I don't know necessarily if I want everyone to have like the reveal. I mean, do I get to see the reveal, or does that get shared with like my matches?
You see each other's reveal in a super cool way that actually the patent just got accepted. Woo!
Oh, nice.
So each time you answer a question of the Real Reveal, a color, like the soul chakra colors, ping to an empty, what begins as an empty heart that we all have when we're starting. And by the end, you have the truth, you see the truth of your heart based on who you are. And so when you now look at the hot men and women and the great bodies and all the money in the bank and all the superficial stuff that a lot of us still pay attention to, I'm teaching people to look at the truth of each other's hearts.
And
love
that's
that.
gonna be in the colors,
I
like
love
their
that.
chakras.
That's so awesome.
Wow, that is so neat.
Maybe they'll redo Miss America based on some of these factors.
Read our instead.
Beauty inside out, right? Beauty inside out.
And the test really also is about love readiness, right? Isn't that a huge part of it?
It is. Well, people think that because they're lonely or they're single that they're ready for love. And they're ready to be loved, they're ready to feel fulfilled, but they're not so ready to have a really good, solid relationship. And they deserve to know how to do that and to have that. And so does their potential partners. So we're teaching along the way, and we're just all about love.
So important.
We all need
the
it.
Conversation, the conscious conversation is so important, because I do think that so many people look to a relationship to fulfill something that is really delusional instead of really just truly sharing your life or whatever it is. And I think a lot of people say they want relationship, but they really don't. They just want a hot, passionate drama, something going on.
Well, yes and no. I think they've just decided that's the best I'm going to get.
Yeah.
I think they dumb their value down to that point. You know, I was doing some press yesterday talking about transactional relationships, and we're all transactional in different ways. It's what can I give to you and what can I get from you.
Quid pro quo.
Especially in Los Angeles.
I know.
We love that. Transactional versus transcending.
Yeah,
So important.
yes. So sometimes it's okay if it's part of your growth, but if you're just staying there and you're harming one another, to me, you're energetically harming society.
So
That's
true.
got to change.
You know, one of the things I'm interested about too, and I think we talk a lot about it on the show, at least I do, and that's sort of the difference between sort of like love and relationships, because I think they're different, and I think that we often prioritize relationships and sacrifice love, and I think that's often a challenge. It's like we put the sort of cart before the horse. And I wonder what your thoughts are about that. Does it make sense?
Well, yeah. So I don't believe that we can truly have a real relationship without love. But once again, we think of love as romantic love, our partner. And it's just, again, energetic love, the way we love one another, the way we treat and are we kind to one another? We know when we're doing things that are wrong because we feel it. It's just, what do we do about it? Do we accept it? Do we ignore it? So I just think that, once again, if we can get to a space of first learning what it means to love ourselves, to just be so okay with who we are, good and bad, then we can finally experience that love with one another in real relationship, right? Because all of the divide, all of the discord, all of the pain from ISIS to Trump to whoever you voted for, it's just a disconnect from love. It just is. I don't mean to sound all whatever, but
no, you're in the perfect place for it.
That's
where we are.
Okay.
You're just speaking your truth. We love that.
Absolutely.
How did you get here? How did you get into this place of being so, evolved and to be a love architect? Yeah.
I'm still a student myself.
Well, we all are.
Yeah, you have to be. I think in order to be even a good teacher, you need to constantly be in a space of being willing to learn more and more and more. So I grew up with a mother who was a hippie on her way to stardom, who was doing a lot of LSD and sleeping with a lot of men. And I saw a lot of pain and a lot of abuse connected to hearing the word love thrown around as a little tyke. And I'm like, it doesn't feel like love. And then I had my grandparents that had this amazing love story and admiration for one another and respect and true relationship. And so I was kind of this little old soul running around as a little flower child, just kind of going, I'm going to figure this crap out. And I'm going to figure it out, hopefully, for myself. And then I'm going to teach it to other people. It just was strange. I mean, you kind of know. God has really led my way. I mean, I've had experiences and opportunities and platforms that I never ever expected. I didn't graduate high school. I didn't go to college. But God gave me Oprah. God gave me the Today Show. God gave me some pretty well-known people that have large platforms as well. And it's just like, if I can just honor His glory and honor the blessings He's given me to help other feel blessings and peace, then amen.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would swap high school, college, and graduate school for Oprah.
Wow,
She's cool.
So beautiful. Tell people how they can find out more about what you do in the Love Architect.
Yeah. So if they're interested in healing and transforming their lives, and when it comes to love with themselves, with one another, they can go to thelovearchitects.com. If they're single and ready for love, or they want to learn to see how ready they are for love or experience that, they can go to thelodgesocialclub.com, and it's just taking off. It's free for the first year. We're onboarding people authentically. We're not putting a bunch of bots on there. So, but yeah, but in the meantime, I just say to everybody, just go be love. Go be love.
That.
Wow.
I love it so much.
Go be love. We'll be back with more. Good morning, LaLa Land.